If you speak fluent English, you can already understand so much Italian without even having to have studied it. I'm sure you can guess what this sentence means, even though it is completely in Italian.
La famiglia celebra una importante tradizione.
This is because English adopted around 30% of its vocabulary from Latin and 30% from French, which of course is a language derived from Latin. And with a few tricks, we can very easily convert all of this vocabulary to Italian, since Italian is essentially modern Latin. These tricks will give us a vocabulary of thousands of words in Italian with very little effort. Then we just have to fill in the gaps of the words that English didn't adopt, and you will be conversant in Italian in no time. And by the end of this lesson, you will already be able to read a story, so stick around for that. Let's go! The first conversion we have to learn is that tion words in English change to
Azione,
in Italian. For example, education becomes
educazione. Educazione.
Remember to repeat after the speaker and try to copy the pronunciation. Can you think of any other tion words? How about information? What do you think that becomes in Italian?
Informazione. Informazione.
Now in English, we can convert words like information and education into verbs just by changing the endings. We have to inform and to educate. Italian is just as easy. We change
Informazione.
to
Informare.
and
Educazione.
to.
Educare.
We just remove
Azione.
and add re. This is the dictionary form, or infinitive form. Here is our first sentence in Italian.
Il professore narra. Il professore narra.
Did you figure it out? The professor narrates. Be sure to repeat in the pause provided. We have
Narrazione.
which becomes,
Narrare.
and then we drop the R for the third person.
Narra.
Don't worry if you can't roll your R's just yet. That will come with time. And how would we say the professor educates?
Il professore educa. Il professore educa.
Now think about all the Italian words you know.
Pizza, espresso, pasta, pesto.
These all end in either o or a because they designate the gender of the word. If this is your first foreign language, you might be a little confused by word gender, but it's not anything super complicated. Mostly, if a noun ends in o, we use
Il,
for the. And if the noun ends in a, we use a different word for the, which is.
la.
It's easy to remember which is which because this also ends in a. Although, as we can see with
Professore.
not every word ends in o or a, so we sometimes have to memorize or guess what gender they are. And between o and a, can you guess which is the feminine form? The a. So if
Professore.
is a teacher that is male, what would we call a teacher that is female?
Professoressa. Professoressa.
Now, if we want to change
Professore.
to the female version, we have to add,
Essa.
just like we add s to some nouns in English to make them feminine, like princess, actress, etc. Now try to work out how to say, the male professor observes. Start from
Osservazione.
and try to find the verb.
Il professore osserva. Il professore osserva.
We went from
Osservazione.
to.
Osservare.
Just think about how many Italian words you know now after learning that simple rule. Try to say architect now, but make it sound Italian and refer to a female architect.
Architetta. Architetta.
Pretty easy, right? And do you know the word for one in Italian?
Uno. Uno.
Like in unique, unitary, unicorn. So if
Uno.
is the masculine form, what do you think is the feminine form?
Una. Una.
Say one architect, referring to a female.
Un'architetta. Un'architetta.
Now, to say one architect when referring to a male, we chop off the O on
1. Un architetto. Un architetto.
But both of these can mean one architect or an architect, just like in English. Now, the word for is in Italian is
È. È.
pretty easy to remember, right? Referring to a female, let's try to say, the architect is a professor.
L'architetta è una professoressa. L'architetta è una professoressa.
All the words have to match up and end in a because
È.
is like an equal sign. Another secret trick we can utilize is that in English we have lots of adjectives that end in al, and this al ending is derived directly from Latin, so a lot of these words are exactly the same in Italian. The only difference is that the stress is on the al in Italian. So referring to a male, let's try to say, the architect is professional.
L'architetto è professionale. L'architetto è professionale.
These al words don't change according to gender. So how would we say, the female professor is normal?
La professoressa è normale. La professoressa è normale.
Now we're going to read a short story to show just how much you already know and how much you have learned in just one lesson. And you'll also get a sneak peek at some of the secrets we will learn in the following lessons to increase your vocabulary even more. See if you can understand this story, and then I'll show the translation.
L'artista famoso crea una magnifica scultura per la galleria. Il pubblico e i critici analizzano i dettagli e applaudono l'innovazione. Tutti ammirano i colori e la creatività.
Did you understand everything? If not, here's the translation. The famous artist creates a magnificent sculpture for the gallery. The public and critics analyze the details and applaud the innovation. Everyone admires the colors and creativity. You see, with just a couple of simple rules, we unlocked hundreds, if not thousands of words in Italian, with which you can already begin to speak. And there will be more secret tricks like this in the following lessons, so hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any videos. And if you'd like to support the channel so I can continue these lessons and do the same for other languages, then stop by Patreon where you will also be able to find other study and listening material.